Hi everyone, this is Sura from Sura Center. Today I wanted to talk about when something feels really hard, what to do about that, because what often happens when people come to life coaching or when they need help is that stress accumulates and it creates this compression in someone's life, or it creates a stuckness, and it feels very hard and sticky to get out of it. So what I recommend, and I practice this for myself, is that when I am undergoing a new project or working with new people, encountering a new experience, I'm really paying attention to what feels hard or harsh on your energy. Whenever something's hard on your energy, it's very important to take a look at that, because what often happens is when we try to muscle through it or ignore it or not really acknowledge it, then it builds as stress on our system. A lot of what causes us stress and dis-ease is what's invisible. They're the invisible tensions, the unspoken truths, the things that we kind of got an intuitive hit on, but we've just kind of conveniently covered up because we don't have the space or the capacity to really deal with that, or the resource. So one of the tools I'd like to share with you today is, when something feels hard, is to stop and to sit with it. So there's a number of things that could be coming up. One, when something's hard, it's the way that you're relating to that project, the work, the activity. So think of it less about, that thing causing you stress per se, as the way that you are relating to it within your own consciousness. So for example, recently I took on a really big work project, and at first it caused quite a bit of stress and chaos for me because I had to make a lot more space in my schedule to take this project on. And what I realized is that I was able to shift my own perspective and design this project and really create this project in a way that was going to be fluid for me and my own lifestyle and work schedule. Whereas before, I was trying to handle it from an old consciousness. I would say an older version of me that's really heavy-handed and tends to be a perfectionist and micromanage more. And I realized that no, this project needed to have a lot more fluidity. It needed a lighter touch. It needed other people to come in and lead this project. I didn't have to be the main person involved. And so when I took a step back, because when something feels really hard, oftentimes that's a sign of misalignment, and something just needs to be tweaked, just needs to be looked at in a new way. So that's the first thing, is the way that you're relating to it. And that's the first thing to look at. The second thing is that it could be in misalignment with who you are. So if something feels hard, you have to ask yourself, is this really creating something that I want? Is this really creating something that I want? Is it providing me with a sense of joy? Is it giving me a sense of fulfillment? So asking yourself these deeper questions, so that if you need to make an executive decision about it and let it go, release it from your life, that you have the capacity to do that. Because a lot of times it's much easier to say yes to things than to say no. And women especially tend to do too much, take on too much. So knowing what you can really handle is very important. And the third thing is to, when something is hard, is to sit with it and see what intuitive hits that you're getting about it. So for me, if I feel like something's pulling on my energy, if I'm dealing with something or working with someone and something feels like a drag on my energy, I always pay attention to that, because what starts out as a little bit uncomfortable can really turn into a much bigger problem. And that's what you're dealing with when you're working with stress and energy management, is that you're looking at the subtle things. I always look at what's happening on a subtle level, because that's what often manifests it onto a physical level, like a physical, it turns into a conflict, it turns into something bigger. And if I'm receiving any kind of drag on anything, it means that I need to express or communicate something that I'm sensing. And when you express and communicate something that feels a little off for you, we can say this in a way that isn't accusatory. It can be very light, but hey, I noticed that we've had a few miscommunications the other day, and you kind of just state exactly what happened and ask to have a time to talk about it. So, and then you'll quickly know, and oftentimes when you bring what's conscious from what's unconscious, because nobody ever wants to be a drag on your energy. That's nobody has that life intention, like I hope I pull on so-and-so's energy and suck them dry. Nobody has that. But when you can express something and let people know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how you prefer to work, how you then it alleviates that unspoken tension or that undue stress. And the way I would describe this is, if there's anything that you're thinking about and it keeps running through your head over and over and over again unnecessarily, like it's keeping you up at night or you're waking up and thinking about it, then those things you need to address right away. And you'll notice that when you address them, it alleviates stress immediately and you'll feel much lighter. And that's how you know. So the first thing is to really look at the way that you're relating to that thing. The second is to see if it's aligned. Those activities or whatever you're engaged in is aligned to your being, and if that's what you really want to do. And the third thing is to express and communicate any intuitive or subtle things that are kind of bothering you or that aren't really sitting right with you, to just have the self-permission to talk about it and bring it out into the open. So anything that feels hard on your energy, it's really important to take a look at it before it turns into something bigger, because that's what causes a great deal of stress on our nervous system and on our health. I hope this is helpful for you. If you'd like to receive future updates like this, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.